Full gear. And that lets you save
Look here.
True Form Life.
Green look on it.
Welcome to another edition of Nationally Syndicated, exploring mind and body. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community, whether you're listening as a podcast around the world or on terrestrial radio across the country. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. Today I'm bringing on Kyle Flynn, and I gotta tell you, this is super inspirational, at least for me, from a standpoint of running a business and making things work when things looked a little bleak. I think in most cases when you are running a business, there's many times when things seem challenging and there is no light at the end of the tunnel. But Kyle's going to talk about building a tribe. I think it's a great topic because I honestly feel like deep down we all want to be a part of something, and I feel like everyone does. And I know there's some of you sitting there and being like, nope, I'm good on my own, because we hear that all the time. Like, come and join our monthly membership group. We've got a lot of great support and amazing people to help lift you up. And then, of course, we hear that other end of it of, oh no, I like to do things on my own. But I got to tell you, there's so many benefits from joining a tribe and finding like-minded individuals to raise you up and push you forward and help you set goals. And Kyle's going to talk about a super interesting story. He was a collegiate athlete. He played college football, and then he started to run his own business. He ended up doing personal training for free just so he could get a name out there and let people know who he was and what he did. He slowly built his clientele, and now he's running a 9,000 square foot building, and he's got a gym jam-packed, a new yoga studios inside the gym, all kinds of cool things going on. But you know, there's always time to grow. There's always a bit of struggle. There's always growing pains. He talked about how at one point he was sleeping on a couch in his gym with his dog. So again, super inspiring to know that you got to put in the time and effort. You got to put in the work to make it all happen. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. Super grateful for Kyle sharing some time and words of wisdom with us. So sit back and enjoy. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Tadia.
All right, welcome to another edition of Nationally Syndicated, Exploring Mind and Body. You heard all about Kyle in the introduction, so without further ado, welcome to the show, Kyle.
Hey man, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
It's our pleasure. Today we're talking about building a tribe. I think it's super cool from where you came from to where you are now. Very interesting story. Why don't we jump into it? Let us know who you are, what you do, where you came from.
Yeah, so you know what? I grew up in the South Bay. Actually grew up in South Torrance. I have two brothers, mom and dad. Grew up my whole life playing sports. Once I got to high school, I really got into football, and I've always been around teams my entire life. Absolutely fell in love with football. I went on to San Jose State and played football at San Jose State. And after I got done there, I moved home and really found myself in this position with a huge void in my life. And that was because it was the first time in my life I didn't have a team. So I started personal training. And from that time of personal training, I went through some struggles as well. The mortgage market crashed, and, you know, my dad lost his business. And it was the first time in my life I really had to get down to the nitty gritty and work and get my hands dirty. So from there, I built my personal training business into small group. Small group turned into, you know, me opening my own facility. And, you know, when I opened my own facility, it kind of turned into something that I didn't know what I got myself into. I think, you know, at 27 years old, opening a business without much guidance, it was a big eye opener for me, and it was the best experience of my life. We went through a big time struggle the first 2 years, almost shut down, kind of dug my feet in the ground again, and got that thing going. And here we are in year 5. So this is where we're at now. You know, we have a big community. We've expanded a couple times. We have a 9,000 square foot facility. We offer all group training and personal training We have a yoga studio inside of our facility now. And yeah, we're just really trying to make an impact on this community in a positive way. When I was growing up in the South Bay, I never really had a place to go in a group environment to be supported in whatever I was doing. So, we have a group of people here that are like-minded individuals, all trying to reach a common goal. And I think that's really where the magic happens, is within this community and this culture. So.
Okay, so you had an interesting story. You ended up on a couch.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear some more details about that.
Yeah, so when I first got done at San Jose State, most of my life up until about I was 22, I was pretty well taken care of. I never really had anything to worry about financially. And, when the mortgage market crashed in 2008, it was like as I was driving home from San Jose State. So I got home and all I knew was we were moving somewhere. And we had to make some adjustments. And there was a short stretch there where, I was basically living out of my car and giving away free personal training sessions. And, what I would do is I'd give away free personal training sessions, try to show them what I had as a trainer, show my value, and then I'd ask for just a tip at the end. And eventually, you start doing this for 6 months, it kind of compound effects. And, maybe not that first person that you gave that free session to signs up, but they tell a friend 6 months down the road. So I just focused on doing that and getting in front of people. And I was eating off the Taco Bell dollar menu for a long time. I had this huge jar of change that I had from when I was a kid or something. And I remember taking change to the gas station because my truck didn't have a gas gauge. So I was always guessing how much gas I had. So I wouldn't drive too far from the gym because I didn't know how far I could go. And it was an 83 K5 Blazer. I don't know if you've seen one of those. There's these huge box gas guzzlers. So I had to play it safe most of the time. So it was a struggle for 6 months, and it was hard to see like the light at the end of the tunnel, definitely in those times. I will say it was the best thing that's ever happened to me, coming from a pretty privileged upbringing. And I don't think if I would have had that experience in my life, I would be where I am today. And it's taught me how to fight in the trenches and, not be scared of anything, man. It really is all up to you and what you want to do. And if you make your mind up, you can go as far as you want.
So what is it where do you feel like you've been able to grow, or what have you done? Like you did that personal training kind of for free to get started. How were you able to go from, like, it's a relatively short time to go from zero mm-hmm. to growing into a 9,000 square foot facility? Like it's got to be one of the biggest around. Most are small studios around here, aren't they?
Yeah, most for like our general space. It's funny, people come in here, they think it's a CrossFit gym because it's in a warehouse, and we're not a CrossFit gym. Going from a small studio gym, the first gym I trained at was about 1,000 square feet. The biggest thing that I've seen is, in this day and age, everybody's glued to the phone, and it's just gotten worse and worse every year. The human interaction, the human connection is just completely lost from where it used to be. And being on those teams growing up, the best part about being on those teams wasn't the sports I was playing, wasn't the crowds. It was the connection within the team. And I think it's so awesome, when you get a group of people together working towards a common goal and connecting them to each other, the energy that conspires in that room, right? And I think that's something that I focused on really early, and I didn't even know I was focusing on it. I really just loved being around people with good energy that, were connected. So, when people talk about the fitness industry, it's really a connection industry. It's really about connecting people. And I think that's where we really have started to build this tribe and this community that supports one another, that doesn't have any egos, that really truly believes deep down to the core in one another and is going to go to bat for each other.
Is there anything that you do to specifically to build that community? Like, I think we've all been, well, those of us in the fitness industry, we've been in gyms and atmospheres where people don't really care about other people. They're just there for themselves. Is there anything that you've implemented to make that happen? Yeah,
and you know what? I think you see that a lot. You go into gyms and no one's talking to each other. Everyone's glued to the phone. You'll even see a trainer training someone when they're actually just on their phone or messing around, right? They're supposed to be training somebody. And that's like something that we're so not about, right? When people come into our doors, it's a rock star entry and it's an encore exit. And that's what we tell our trainers here. We celebrate our members. And what ends up happening is when you have a group of leaders, especially our coaches, celebrating the members, connecting with each other, bringing that good energy, they can't help but buy in as well, right? So if they're coming in here every day and they're feeling that energy, they're feeling that positivity, they're going to keep coming back, one, but two, they're going to spread it because positivity is contagious. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest thing is we really promote the positivity and celebrating our members when they come through the door.
So for your members when they come in, what do you guys do? Do you guys anything in particular, like besides smiles and handshakes or high fives? Like,
I mean, you know what? I think that the biggest difference with our type of gym versus the ones you see on every corner is we're going to know your name, we're going to know your kids' names, we're going to know what your goals are. It's not just a sign up, here's a treadmill and get to work. Do you know what I'm saying? We're high-fiving you, we're hugging you. You'll get 35 high fives before the time you leave this place, and it'll be from random people. It won't just be from the owner. You know what I'm saying? It's a very supportive community, and it's a family.
So what kind, you said you're not a CrossFit gym. What kind of workouts do you guys put together there?
So we have a 3-day strength split. So we have strength classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's our full schedule. And then Tuesday, Thursday is more of a cardio day. And then Saturday we do a hybrid class, and Sunday we do a hybrid class. Our strength classes are great. We do a periodization schedule. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, our cardio classes. Tuesday is a straight cardio class. And then Thursday we do something called Throwdown Thursday, which is actually a challenge day. So we challenge, each class challenges each other. And we keep track of the reps or the rounds or whatever it may be, and we challenge them in different ways. And at the end of the day, one of the classes of the day is the winner. Just a fun way to build some camaraderie and have some fun, you know?
Got some competitive going on, competition going on.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that. Okay, so when you guys are together working on building your atmosphere, is there anything that you guys do? Like sometimes groups celebrate birthdays, sometimes they get together outside of the gym. Anything that you guys do in that regard? Yeah,
so we do something called Ripper of the Month, and that's just like our member of the month. And it's a term that we created called Ripper or RIP, and that's going all in on all in. And when people sign up here and they're looking to hit that goal, it's the first thing we ask them if they're ready to go all in on that goal. Because it's going to take a client and us to get there. So when they do start hitting goals, they've been here for a year, they hit their PR. We have a PR bell. We celebrate the members after a year. If it's their first class, they get a celebration. So at the end of class, we'll be like, hey, it was Tim's first class today. Everybody give him a round of applause. Lots of different ways to do it. We do member highlights on our IG, on our social media. We do new member highlights on our social media. So there's a lot of different ways to do it.
That's awesome. Is all of those in combination, like it seems like growing? Do you know how many members you have?
We are at 276.
So it sounds like a big number. Is that a big number for gyms?
You know what? We're about halfway there.
Halfway where you want to be?
Yeah.
So building that tribe, has that helped you? All those little things has helped you get to where you're at and eventually going to be where you want to be? Absolutely.
And you know what? I think if you think about even on sports teams, right, or if you think of these big companies that celebrate their members or their employees for, hitting their sales records, whatever else, it's the same thing. We want to create as many moments as we can for our members so they feel like that we're pouring in just as much as them. Because they are the all-stars of this gym. It's not about us. It's not about our coaches. It's about our members. And the more we can highlight them and celebrate them, the bigger the tribe will be.
And do they respond pretty well to, well, I'd imagine if your gym is growing, but sometimes you have people that are used to working out alone, or maybe you have an introverted person, they get into this atmosphere where people are like high energy, excited to see them. Is anyone like, whoa?
You know what? Yeah. And there's a certain amount of people here that kind of just want to go and do their own thing, and they totally do. Do you know what I'm saying? Have we scared away anybody? Maybe. I don't think so. If it's a positive environment, I think the positivity is such a stronger piece than the negativity you see at all the other gyms where no one talks to you, no one gives you, a hello. The anxiety that people probably feel going into these places feeling alone will probably push them to our spot.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think a lot of times people are looking for something like that. Like they're looking for, I feel like we all want to belong to something. and it's really challenging. Like, it's funny, like I can relate to the runners so much, and I'm not like a super runner. I just I enjoy the community of the runners group. So I run a couple times a week. That's good enough for me. A lot of these guys are running every day, but for me, it's like you get a chance to meet all these people, and they're always reaching a new goal, or they're so aspiring to be around because they're always trying to accomplish something new. So just being around that is beneficial.
Right. It's motivating, right? It inspires you. And, there's so much negativity going on in the world as is. Being a sanctuary of positivity, I think people are going to come to it. We all need it.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And I think people just really want acknowledgement of being a part of it.
Yeah, I like that. So not just being a part of the group, but being acknowledged as well. I think sometimes you get groups that are too big. Like I played football. I don't know if you know my background. I played football in high school, and then I went on to play professional baseball. But you have such big teams that often a coach or even a teammate, they don't acknowledge you because there's so much going on. Like if you're the starting pitcher, maybe you get acknowledged, or maybe you hit a home run. But other than that, many times you're just pushed at the back.
Right. And I think people coming from the workspace, maybe working 9 to 5 or working all day, I always tell our coaches, I'm like, hey, this is their recess. This is where they get to come in, let loose, have fun, smile, be acknowledged. They're not just sitting behind a desk punching keyboards, They get to have fun and be a kid again. And everybody has a kid inside of them, and that's what our job is to bring it out of them.
One of the pictures I thought was cool was a video. There was a bunch of your guys, a bunch of your members. They were all squat pressing a rope, like a huge line of them on each side. Tell me about that.
So, when we program our workouts, one of the components is human connection and bringing people together. So we do a lot of partner workouts, and it's to start the class. We want people smiling. You ever given someone a high five and not smiled? I mean, it's like if someone's smiling and gives you a high five, you're going to smile, right? Or, if you're throwing a rope up, if we have 50 people on a rope and they're all doing push presses together, it's kind of cool. It's super fun, and it brings everyone together working as one. And then it sets the tee up for the whole class. So then everything from there, they're all working together. They're all smiling. Everybody lets loose. There's so oftentimes people come into classes and they're all uptight. They're stressing about their job. They're stressing about work, whatever they have to do that day. And as soon as you connect them to another human that's not vibing like that, it gets shut off, right? But if you don't, you just go through your mobility stretches and go through the motion. Okay, we're doing 5 sets of 5 on squats today. That's not breaking any energy there. You know what I'm saying? So what we try to do is set off our classes right at the beginning, positive energy, human connection. So it's all downhill from there. And then at the end of class, we bring them all together again. Okay. So then what that does is it gives them a closure to that. So they get ready for their day. And then the new class coming in sees that everybody's working together, and it sets the tone for every single class of the day.
So what do you do when you bring them together at the end?
We'll either bring them together and they'll do a finisher together. So they go through some kind of strenuous 5-minute finisher. Sometimes we bring them together and we just give them like a pep talk, like, hey, we know what's going on in the world right now, or we give them a little speech on, inspiration or motivation, and it just kind of brings them all together so they could all get a break and then move on with their day.
That's awesome. What do you guys do for recovery? Do you have recovery days? Do you stretch together after? What does that look like? Yeah,
so you know what? We leave it up to our clients. They can come and go as they please, but we do have yoga. So we have a yoga studio inside of our facility. We offer 6 classes a week, and we just started that in January, and it's been going really well, and we're doing more and more of it. We partnered with Beach City's Cryo, which is right down the street, and all of our members get discounted rates on cryo, sauna, the Normatec boots, everything they have to offer there. So that's really cool. And then we also have a massage therapist on staff who is in here a couple days a week to take care of our members because they're getting beat up during the week, You
got like a one-stop shop. They just come into your place. Do you have any beds in there? Can anyone sleep in there?
You know what? When we first opened, I had a couch that was about all I could afford, and it was from IKEA, and it was here until about, I'd say, last year, but I slept on that couch quite a bit when we first opened. Yeah, I lived here. And we finally got rid of the couch, and everybody joked. They called it the casting couch. And we got it outside. It used to just be me and my dog in my office every night. And I would teach the evening class. And then work my ass off. And then the next morning it was 5 a.m. early call. I was like, it's not even worth me driving back home. I'll just stay here. Yeah.
And paying gas too, right?
Right. Gas, whatever else. It was just like, screw it. I don't got the money for this right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was that common knowledge at the time, or did you joke about it after?
You know what? I think some of the people did. Like, there was a certain point in time where we were really struggling, man. I think it was 3 years ago. We've almost been open 5 years now. It was 3 years ago, and there was a night that I almost turned in the keys, and I sat outside and I don't know. I felt like I didn't have it anymore. And I called my dad, and my dad was like, "Nope." He goes, you got to do this, man. You got to figure out a way to do it. And I sat in my car, and I remember like walking up to the front door, and I was just going to drop the keys to the mail. So I called landlord the next day. And after I got off the phone, my dad was like, I can't let him down. I got to get this thing rolling. I got to find a way. And that's when the couch riding really started. I was like, whatever it takes, man. If I have to sleep on this couch, I'll turn in my car. I'll run everywhere. I don't care what it is. And that's when I really made my mind up at making this thing work. And I burned the boats and went all in on this thing.
So what was it like mentally to be like day in and day out? I'm sure it wasn't overnight. You're like, okay, I'm going to stay. And then 3 days later, it worked out.
Right. I mean, I think before I initially made that decision in my head, I always had this like back out. So like the first 2 years we were open, I was like, okay, like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And then when I had that decision that night, it was more like the boats are burning. You don't have a fucking choice anymore, man. Like you got to go. Right. So it was a lot easier for me because my mindset was right. I was like, okay, whatever it takes. If I have to sleep on the couch, if I have to eat top ramen, I don't care. I've been in college. I could do this. I've been broke before. I've lived out of my car before. So that's at that point, when you live out of your car, if you're in a position with no money and you're still surviving, you have no fear. I had nothing to lose, right? So when you have nothing to lose, you're a dangerous person. You can get shit done, and you have a mindset that's so. It's like if you go out in the woods and you see this vicious wolf that hasn't eaten in days, right? It's a whole different beast. If the wolf had been eating for a full month, and then you see it, it'd probably be pretty cool. If it's been a month and it hasn't eaten, it's probably going to kill your ass. I was that scared wolf that was like hungry as hell and going after whatever I could. So it taught me a lot, and I'm really excited that I got that opportunity to actually sleep on the couch because it taught me a lot about myself.
It's interesting. When I started out fitness classes, I've got a long story. I'll just keep it short, but I was starting fitness classes in a town, and no one really knew who I was. I tried to partner with some gyms, and no one wanted to part with me. No one wanted me to work there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start my own fitness classes outside. And it was a challenge. It was really challenging to get people to come out, to show up. It's raining today at the time of this recording, but I actually sat in the rain waiting for people to come, and no one would come. No one came. So
Yeah.
I had to go to businesses to get people to come out. But at any rate, that summer was our biggest. It was when I started to get it rolling, when I started to get some businesses out and some employees to come out together for some team building kind of stuff. It was my biggest year ever, and I had no money. I had no resources. I didn't know anyone, but I was super creative in finding t-shirt night, 80s night, getting other facilities to come out and bring drinks or treats. And I always say that if you have no marketing budget, you can be the most creative ever because you don't have an excuse of what's not working for you.
Totally. And your back's against the wall, right? And what's cool about that is it's so organic and authentic rather than just spending money on Facebook ads, right?
Yeah.
Like you're literally making the human connection that we've been talking about. When you have nothing, when you don't have money to pay for advertising and you have to go shake hands, people appreciate that, man. People appreciate that human connection because it's so lost now.
Yeah. Everyone's just glued on their phones. I love that, how you guys are different in that regard. Yeah, this has been fantastic, Kyle. It's flown by. We do have to wrap things up here shortly. Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to go over or discuss?
You know what, man? Thank you for bringing me on. It was awesome talking to you. I hope that I can meet you soon. Secondly, I wanted to thank everybody in the South Bay for voting us Best of the Beach for the training facility. We just got news last week. And if any of you guys want to check us out, our website is theblueprintla.com. and our IG handle is the Blueprint LA.
Awesome, Kyle. And I definitely recommend checking that stuff out. I've been following you for a little while now before I reached out. I think you did a video, and that, I don't know if this is getting personal, but I don't think it was you. Was there two of you and I don't know if it was your girlfriend or wife. Did you guys jump? Were you guys on the beach together and then like jumped in the ocean? Was that you?
Yeah. So on it was actually Valentine's Day weekend. We went and did a little beach workout, and it was kind of cold outside, and we just did a cold plunge. For it, we just jumped in. We got done with the workout, and I wanted to see if she was down to do it, and there was no questions asked. So it told me that she was a keeper, you know. It was the middle of winter, and she jumped in the freezing cold water with me. I was like, let's do it.
You know, I got to tell you that was when I first was like, I was just flipping through. Sometimes I'll hashtag South Bay or whatever I came across you. And then from there, I followed your gym. So that's how I first found you.
Oh.
And I got to tell you that I was going through a little bit of funk myself. I was like, it was just long days, long stretches. I felt like, you know how it is. Some days, some months, or some weeks are like you're never going to get out of it. And I was just day in, day out. And I'm right here. Like I'm right on Catalina, so I can see a little part of the ocean. And I didn't spend any time on the strand. I usually go down to the strand, ride my bike or run. I wasn't doing anything, just been working and grinding every day. And I watched that video. And in the summers, I'm trying to teach myself how to surf. So in the summers, I go jump in the ocean pretty much every day. And it's been cold. So the water's cold. I didn't want to jump in. I saw that video and I was like, I got to wake myself up. I got to do something to shake myself out of this. So that day I went and jumped in the ocean. It was freezing, but at any rate, that's a pretty cool story. That's how I realized, started following you and checking out what you do.
Man, that's so awesome. How'd you feel after?
Oh, fantastic.
It's the best.
I feel like the ocean washes stress away instantly.
Immediately, man. And it's so funny. Like I don't do that often. Like in the summers all day, every day, right? But in the winters, I don't ever do it. And I'm like, I need to do this way more. This needs to be part of the routine, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us again your website and your IG handle.
So the website is theblueprintla.com. You can go to the website and click a link for a free 3-day trial. You guys are more than welcome to come try out the gym. Ask for me. I'd love to meet anybody that comes. And then our IG handle is theblueprintla.com.
Awesome. All right, Kyle, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. I hope you got something out of the interview. I hope it was half as inspiring to you as it was for me. Props to Kyle for making it through that struggling time, that challenging time. And I know that doesn't mean it's over with. Anytime we grow, anytime we move forward or looking for new heights, there's still struggles and there's still challenges. So no doubt there's going to be more along the way. But I think when you have that internal grind or that internal grit, and you know that when times get tough, you can dig in from past experiences, and you know that you're going to be able to get through it regardless of how challenging times seem. That just makes us stronger all the more. And then, of course, when we're talking about building a tribe, and that was really what this whole interview was about for you guys out there that may be looking for like-minded individuals to help set goals for you, to help understand what it's like to maybe build your own tribe and surround yourself with these supportive people that we're talking about. Tons of takeaways throughout this interview. I'm looking forward to a workout myself with Kyle and his team there. Looking forward to checking out the crew to see what they have going there. Hopefully I'm going this weekend. If not, I'm definitely going to go at a time soon at a close date. So if you get a chance, hopefully you get a chance to check out his gym as well here in South Bay. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for being here. More details are at trueformlife.com. That's where we put together everything that we do on our end, from our products and services to these podcasts, along with our running podcast as well, and radio shows. Super grateful for those radio stations that are continuing to air our show on their station over the years. Can be more grateful for them as well. So shoot us a message. We're on Facebook.com/TrueFormLife. We're posting there a couple times a day, along with our story to keep you motivated, inspired, putting up recipes, even workouts that we have going on up there as well. And Instagram.com/DrewTadia. So shoot us a message. Let us know how we're doing with the show. If you're listening, if you've been enjoying those messages, means so much to us and helping us build our True Form tribe if you will. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Tadia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Tadia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.